Hi, and welcome back to It Figures. Tonight, I am actually going to be reviewing a figure that I have multiple figures of that I have yet to review for you guys, and I have yet to ever open up a single one of these figures, and that is Gremlins. And this one is actually called the Ultimate Gamer Gremlin. Now, for those who follow me over there on Box Office Maniacs, you know that I am building a game room. And it's actually a show I have over there called Kill Screen that I review, video games and old arcade games and things like that. So when I saw this at GameStop, I'm like, oh my god, this is perfect for my game room. How can I not have this? And so I ended up picking it up, and it is $30, so yeah, it's rather on the expensive side, but most NECA figures are kind of $30, kind of ridiculous, but that's pretty much what they are now. But it does come with some really cool accessories that I can't wait to open up and show. So the cover here is awesome. I love the fact that it's the original cover from the Gremlins poster from the movie, but they got the Gamer Gremlin sort of popping out of the cover, so that's super cool. On the side, it just basically says Gremlins, and on the back, it shows images of the figure, sort of from the movie, different images that was from the film, but actually using the figure for, which is pretty cool. Like all NECA figures, this actually opens up, has some Velcro in there, so if you wanted to hang it up and display it somewhere, you could, and has the image of the Gremlin here on the inside cover. And here he is. Here is Gamer Gremlin. And I know a lot of people buy these figures and they just hang them up on the wall, or they put them in a closet and they never even open them up, and that's just ridiculous. I mean, these are made to display and have fun with and show to people, and keeping them in the box is sort of, against the point of actually buying a figure, in my opinion. So let's open this guy up, and I can't wait to see all the accessories and the cool stuff. And it's my first Gremlin that I will ever have opened up, so I'm really excited. Here we go. Here is my first ever review for a Gremlin. And bright light! Oh, bright light! Wait a minute, is that for Gizmo or is that for all of them? I don't even remember. So, let's, but he needs light so we can actually see him, so let me adjust my light here. Okay, so yeah. First reaction here is, I love it. I absolutely love this figure. As always, NECA knocks it out with the sculpts. I don't think I've ever gotten a figure from NECA that the sculpt hasn't been absolutely spectacular, and this is no exception. So let's just take a look right away at the detail here. Like I said, the sculpt is amazing. It looks just like a Gremlin. And he was in the first movie, I believe. I think he was at the bar, when they went into the bar, and he was sitting there playing a little arcade game, which it does come with, and I'll show you that in a minute. But I believe that's the scene that he was in. Now, there were so many Gremlins in that scene, it's almost impossible to pick them all out. But he was the one that I do remember from the movie. I do remember him being in the film. So that's awesome that they made him for us gamers. So yeah, I love the detail here. And like I said, this is the first Gremlin I have ever opened. So I don't know if they're all this way. But he does have sort of like this scaly side here for his shoulders. And the back here is actually what's really interesting to me, because I thought the Gremlins actually had tails, but he has some weird thing going on here. I don't really know what that is. It's I'm assuming it's kind of a tail, but at the same time, it almost looks like something like almost from like a cockroach or something. It's really weird detail they have here on his back. Now, I don't know if it's only exclusive to this guy or if all the Gremlins have that on their backs. I don't know. But now I'm really interested in opening my other Gremlins to find out. They gave him fantastic texture. I love the texture of this Gremlin. And he's very scaly feeling. It's like everything on him is rough, and like it should be. So I think that's really great they did that. And they even have like the folds in his neck back here where you can see that. And everything is just all scales. It's a very scaly figure, and it feels really good. It has a great texture throughout the entire thing. So let's take a look at his paint. Again, this is a fantastic job from NECA, and sometimes the paint can be off from them. It's not as good as the sculpture sometimes, But fortunately for this one, both of them are just pretty much near perfect here. I love the stripes that are on him. I think the stripes going down his arm and the one on his chest here are just really, really well painted. And inside of his ears, of course, they're like this weird yellowish tan color. My favorite part here are the eyes. They did a great job painting like the yellow and the red in the eyes. They look really, really cool. And they almost look like they're inset into the head to where you can actually just move them. I don't think you can, but they did such a good job on that to where it really looks like they can move inside his eye sockets. Like they're not just sculpted into the head, but they're actually put in there. So going down his body here, again, he has really nice paint going down his legs, more scales. He has paint here right at the bottom of his feet. And what's really cool, he does actually have paint on the bottom of his feet. So they didn't even leave that out. I thought that was a really nice touch from NECA. So on the back of his head, he actually does have paint on the back of his ears and the back of his head. And that's cool. That's a really, again, a great design. I would have never noticed that from the figure in the movie. And I'm, again, wondering if all the Gremlins have that same sort of paint design, or if it's just specific to him, or what. But, yeah, it's really awesome. All right, so let's take a look at the articulation of Gamer Gremlin now. And once again, this is where NECA shines here and kind of fails at the same point. All right, so first of all, his mouth opens. And, yes, that's cool. I mean, look at the detail inside his mouth. You can actually see the upper part of his gums. You can see his tongue. Trying to get the detail in here. It's hard to see because it's so dark. But yeah, I mean, the detail in his tongue, it's just well painted. The back of his throat is actually painted too. It's really hard to see that on the camera. But it is. It actually goes all the way to the back of his throat, and everything is detailed back there and painted as well. Alright, so for the articulation in his head, he does have the head rotation. His head does go back and forth. His neck does move. And what kind of really surprised me is he has articulation in his ears even. His ears move up and down and back and forth. His arms have the regular arm joints that you can, or shoulder joints that you can move back and forth. Has the elbow joints that you can bend. Has full hand movements that do go in and out, I believe. They do bend. Don't want to do it because I'm afraid of breaking it, but they do bend inwards. His mid-waist bends and rotates so you can move him all around. Hip joints here, so his hips move. Bottom of his legs here are really well articulated. His knees bend, and half calf, I guess, that also moves. And the bottom of his foot moves as well. And here comes the problem with this figure, is he doesn't like to stand up very well. You can get him to stand up, like right now he's standing on his own, but I think because his arms are so long that it gets a little unbalanced and he just wants to fall over all the time. So, but you can get him to stand. I mean, he's not impossible. Whoop. As I was saying, he's not impossible to stand up, but it's hard to get him to stand up. So I would absolutely recommend getting one of those NECA stands that I reviewed on here to make sure he doesn't fall over and break, because you don't want a broken Gremlin on your hands, because he might be more dangerous than a regular Gremlin. So now comes the fun part of this Gremlin, and this is the reason why I actually picked him up, because of all the cool accessories. First off, he comes with a beanie cap. And the beanie on top, or the propeller, or whatever this is called, on top actually does spin. It spins really well, so it's very cool. It's very colorful. The inside is yellow. It has the blue and the yellow and the red around the top and the green cap, so really, really nicely detailed all around. It has like sort of the wrinkles in the hat and everything, sort of the stitching here around the bill. So yeah, really cool hat, really well done, and it's awesome. Now this is something I'm very familiar with. Popcorn from doing Box Office Maniacs on my other channel. So he does come with a popcorn bucket, and I think this was in the scene when he was in the movie theater. And I don't know if it was the same Gremlin that did this, that had this, but apparently I guess it was. Or they just decided to, you know, put this in with this Gremlin because they didn't have any other Gremlin to give a popcorn bucket to. But either way, I love the fact that they did. You can see all the detail here in the popcorn. So yeah, they did a great job with the popcorn detail here. Around the bottom of it is just like it's a sticker basically that they put around this the tub, and on the front of it it says golden popcorn. And when I saw this, I seen the 2 holes here, and I was like, well, that's weird. Why is there holes in this? I thought maybe it was so he could grip it or something, but that's not the reason that the holes are there. The reason the holes are there is because, once again, this is so cool, the popcorn does come out of there, so he can put it on top of his head and use it as a popcorn helmet like you've seen in the film. So, yeah. That is really inventive. That's great that they actually decided to put that in there with the figure. And again, it's just another reason why this is probably one of the best Gremlins that I have ever bought. Now, who can have popcorn without a soda? You have to have a soda with your popcorn. And look at this. This is this is ridiculous. It really is. I don't know any other words to describe this stuff. The ice in here, the ice cubes in here, I mean, they're clear. They actually have some soda in there. The soda looks real inside of there. It looks like if you turned it over, it would actually just spill out. The clear straw here is really cool. And the graphics, you know, it just says cola around it, is great. And again, this is a unbelievably nice sculpt. It really is. And it's just a soda cup. I mean, that's all it is, a soda cup. But they did such a great job with this. Oh, it's so cool. Now this, I didn't even notice was in the package, actually. And they're going just above and beyond with this figure, with all the cool gaming stuff. But it is called Gamer Gremlin, but still. This is a cartridge, and I'm assuming it's supposed to look like the old Nintendo cartridges. And I don't think this was even in the movie. I mean, it could have been in the film, and if it wasn't, I'm glad they actually brought it out and invented it for the figure. Because, wow, you know, they got Gizmo here, and he's running. And then they got Spike in the background. And instead of Nintendo up here, it says NECA. And there's some really, really small writing here. I can't read what it says. I don't know if it's actual writing. I think it probably is. But yeah, it's so small, I would have to have a magnifying glass to read it. And on the back, or actually on the side, it has Gremlins. So it actually says that on the sides of the disc, or on the cartridge. And it says the pet with a split personality on the back of it. I mean, and there's a small, tiny image of what the game would have looked like. So, yeah, I mean, come on. And then I just dropped it. So, check this out. He has sunglasses. And these are very 80s reminiscent sunglasses. They really are. They look like something that was actually on the the old V series that was on TV at one point. And that's kind of what they remind me of. And they're definitely 80s looking sunglasses. And I love it. And you can see through them, obviously, as you can see. So they're not just like black lenses. They do have a clear lens in there. So yeah, that's just more awesome for this Gremlin. Now this, when I was saying all the other stuff was super cool, I mean, now this, yeah, I mean, this is, if you don't know what this is a joystick from the original Atari 2600. I do have the original Atari 2600 joystick, and this is what it actually looked like way back in the 1980s. And this is from an original Atari. So, yeah, it still works. So I thought it'd be kind of fun to show you what the actual joystick looks like that this miniature one is based on. And it's pretty close. I mean, it's, let's see, what do you think? Is it about the same? I think so. There is white around here, though. And this one, probably, it looked like it was orange at one point, and maybe it was white, and just paint just kind of worn off of it. But, yeah, that's actually what this thing is based on, and could not be any more satisfied that they actually gave Gamer Gremlin a small, miniaturized Atari 2600 controller. Now, I left the coolest thing for last here. These came out, again, back in the 80s, I think, and they were miniaturized versions of obviously the big stand-up arcade machines. And he actually had this in the movie. Now, in the movie, he may have had Donkey Kong. I don't know for sure. I don't know if they went through the whole trouble of renaming it and putting new stickers on it, which I'll show you here in a minute. But this is actually called the Fail Guy. But it's supposed to be based on, I'm assuming, it's supposed to be based on the Donkey Kong arcade. And this is great, people. It really, it is. I mean, it's like, it's I don't have words for it. It's so cool. On the side here, he has looks like a office chair. I don't know what he's doing with an office chair, but he's standing next to it and he's pushing an office chair. So don't know what that is, but okay. Here on the actual top of it here looks like he's jumping and he's throwing an apple core in the air. It's so hard to see it, but I think that's what that is. And again, so weird. I'm not exactly sure the purpose of that. No, now you can see it a little bit better. And the actual joystick moves. I mean, the detail here is just outrageous. The only thing that they could have done better was actually have it working, a working miniature one, or even have the screen light up, which they don't, but that's perfectly fine. So the screen itself has, it's so small, it's, I don't know what those are, office chairs, I guess, and there's ladders to climb up to the top where I'm assuming the Fail Guy is, and somebody else is up there. And they have pictures, just like the old arcades. There's tires, there's like a pineapple there or something. I can't really tell what that stuff is. It's just weird. It's really weird stuff. And on the top here, he is chasing after a woman, and he has like a rainbow streak coming out behind him. And he does not have a beard here, but on the side, it looks like he has a beard. So I don't know what that is either. So then on this other side, he's getting bit in the nose by a dog. So yeah, I think it says the Fail Guy. I'm pretty sure that's what it's the Pale Guy or the Fail Guy. I think it's the Fail Guy. I mean, that would make more sense. So on the bottom of this, it even has the compartment where you would put the batteries for this machine and the stands it would stand on if it was, standing on a table. The back of it is plain, but it does have some a few graphics. But yeah, I mean, this is this is going to be awesome up there in my game room, and I can't wait to display Gamer Gremlin up there with all this really ridiculously cool stuff. So the very last thing that comes with is a different set of hands for the Gremlin, and I am assuming that these are for gripping the arcade machine and probably the joystick and whatnot. So I don't know the other pair of hands. I don't know what they would hold. I think one of them looks like it would hold the soda, maybe? I'm not sure. Let me take a look and see what is better for him to grip things with. Okay, so now that we put accessories in Gamer Gremlin's hands, he went from like a perfect 10 to a perfect 20. So the one hand grips the soda really well, and I'm assuming the other hand that's on him is there to hold the Gremlin's NECA cartridge. And what it really does very well is holds the fake Atari 2600 controller. So yeah, that's really, really nice grips it actually has for holding these things. I'm half tempted to pull off the hands so he would hold this, but I might just set it next to him and display it that way so I don't break the hands off. So for the sake of this review, I actually did switch this hand, and I believe it's to hold this. And it wasn't that hard to get off. I was afraid it might snap off when I moved it, but I don't know if he can actually hold this. I guess he can. So yeah, he can actually hold that in his hand. It's a pretty good grip he has on that while standing up. So there he is. He's standing on his own, holding his own little miniature arcade machine. And I'll probably put him like that in the pose because it's so cool up there in my gamer room. And I know you guys wanted to see what it looked like with his sunglasses on, so here he is. There's so many options you can do with this guy. It's just great. It's a lot of fun. And again, this is what I'm talking about with opening up these figures. I mean, you could not have this fun with the figure hanging on a wall. I mean, that's not the point of this. It's to pose it and have fun with it and open it up and check out all the different paint and the sculpts and I mean, you can't see the back of the figure inside of the box, and it's just a shame that people just refuse to open up their stuff and take a look at it when it is this cool. So yeah, his sunglasses look really well on him. And now let's take a look at the popcorn bucket. So that is why his ears move. That makes sense now to me. Because you kind of have to move his ears down in order to get the popcorn bucket on his head. And it fits on there, but it doesn't really fit great on there. But, I mean, it does its job. I mean, it stays on there pretty well. And this would even be really good if you had a theater room, or just to put it into your living room if you had a big theater setup. So he can be gamer Gremlin and movie Gremlin at the same time. So that's just a really great combination. So overall, would I recommend this? Is this something that I would approve? Absolutely, 100%. This is probably one of my favorite NECA figures I have ever bought. And again, $30 is a steep price, but for all the cool stuff that he comes with, I mean, it's like... This is the Gremlin that I guess I've been waiting for, even though I do have 3 or 4 other ones that I've never opened up, like I said. This is probably the best one that I have, that I could actually just with the amount of accessories that he comes with. And I forgot to put his beanie on, so let me, and again, you know, he does fall over very easily, as you can see there. The beanie just sits on top of his head, I guess. Let me try that again. There's nothing there to actually keep it on his head, so it'll just fall off, like you can see. But yeah, but if you set it up there very carefully, like I've been doing, you can get it to set up there really nice. So you can either prefer him with a beanie, or you can put the popcorn bucket on his head, or you can have neither. Put the sunglasses and the beanie. Have him holding either the cartridge or the soda or whatever. I mean, it's the possibilities are pretty much endless with this guy. So it's as fun as the movie was. Let me just say that. It really is just a blast to own this Gamer Gremlin. And now that I've actually opened this one, I'm really wanting to open up the other ones, because I got some of the original ones that they released way back in the day that I have still never opened up. And I know they're coming out with the Christmas ones now, with where they're sitting there reading or singing Christmas carols. And that was one of my favorite scenes in the movie too. So I might pick those up because I'm so impressed with this guy. The only thing is he doesn't stand up too well. So be careful with that. But other than that, I mean, it seemed like all the joints worked well. The hands do come off and on pretty easily. And the paint job is practically perfect, as is the sculpt. So yeah, I think this is one of the, like I said, the best NECA figures I have bought in a really, really, really long time. Alright, so there it is. There is the Gamer Gremlin from NECA. And if you are a fan of Gremlins, I can tell you, don't hesitate. Grab this guy off the shelf if you see him. And as far as I know, he's only at GameStop, but you might be able to find him online somewhere as well. And if you are also building a game room or have a game room, this guy is a necessity, I think, for your game room. He is that cool. So if you want to become one of our fan figures on here, please hit the subscribe button and join all the other fan figures that have subscribed so far. And we are trying to get up to at least 1,000 subscribers on this channel, because right now we are not being paid to do this. We have to hit at least 1,000 subscribers to be paid for the channel. So I'm doing all this for free right at the moment. So every one of these figures I actually pay out of pocket for, and so I could just review them for you. But that's what I love to do. So even if I didn't get paid, I would still probably do it. But you know what? It's nice to get paid for what you do on here. So if you haven't, please, again, hit that subscribe button and join all of our crazy fan figures that we have on here. And I will see you next time here on It Figures. Thanks for watching.